Stale here. I'm going to show you today what something I really enjoy doing, and that's working on water-soluble fabrics. This is a little book. I've shown it before, so pages fit in here. And they just, books don't have to have words and all that sort of thing, but you can imagine. So this one is worked on like a piece of Romeo, and all I do is I just, I use those marking pens or any biro or anything that's around because it washes out, and draw up my shape. And then, as you can see with this one, I've simply drawn a grid and done different shapes inside, so that I haven't done anything fancy. They just either that grid or one that goes on the angle on alternates. There's nothing exotic at all. And then around having made the shape, I've zigzagged over it, and that is just to give it some strength. And around the outside, you can see this one here, the zigzags missed one of my lines, but it doesn't matter once it's dissolved. So then I've zigzagged right round the outside completely. Now this is all done free stitching, feed dogs down, everything's on 0-0. So that's one page, so it would just fold in. And the next page, this time, I've used a fancy stitch. So this is that leaf stitch which most machines have got. So I've done my grid again, and there's lines, and the lines coming this way. But for these lines going across here, I've stitched with a little sort of flower or leafy pattern that you'll have on your machine. It's free stitch, so it's not picking it up as you might, so it just tonks along as fast or as short as I pull. And then around the outside, I've done it all right around the whole lot. And when it's dissolved, you can see I've put it into water. I lower it into a bowl of water, a flat tray, and I don't scrunch it or anything like that. I just let these water-soluble dissolve. And you see how it hasn't really broken up much at all because it's got that line that went down first to keep it in place. So there it is, quite a lovely lace. It doesn't have to be for a book page, but just think as a part of a garment that you're making, or a collar, or something like that, how lovely it is. It's a piece of lace that you've made. So the next one is a little bit different. This time I've used a stamp, and I tend to work on these with Lumiere, Jagged Lumiere Metallic Olive Green. That's my favourite colour, and it's always been our biggest seller. And I've simply put this onto a tray, and with a roller just rolled the paint on. This needs cleaning, and then I've stamped on my piece of Romeo like so. And because Romeo is slow dissolving, it won't dissolve away. If you've got a water soluble that dissolves quickly, it will go into holes, but this will hold its own. As I've said many times, if you spill your red wine on it, it doesn't matter, it does just carry on. And so then I have stitched a grid this way and that way, bit of loose stitching here, so you can see it's got bits that are a bit free and so on. But right round the outside, I've stitched that zigzag, that shape right round, just to give it some firmness. And you can see my my stitch here, and I've used that thread that I like, which is called ironbark. It's one of my most favorite threads, and as always, it's variegated. And the last page that I did in my book was, I can't find them at the moment, but my Kiwi stamp. It's the same thing. I've used this paint here, but I've used a different colour. I've used Stonehaven, so you can see a slight contrast. Now what I did first was I made my grid as before, and I did some pattern stitches across the diagonal, but they're all done free stitching. There's no, but you could do them with your feed dogs up as normal and just stitch across the lines, but it's really just to dissolve. You want to put it in a flat tray, not scrunch it or do anything like that that causes it to get distorted. And so that's my little Kiwi page. So this little book is part of my perhaps Kiwi in the bush. And for the cover, it's fairly difficult to show you, but I did a separate piece. So that's my underneath, which is velvet. And you can see some bits here. So I've stitched on the diagonal with a ribbon that I've always used that I can't get anymore. And I've stitched some big patterns and little patterns, so a variety of patterns over the top to make a very textured surface. So that's all I've done, and it yeah, it just makes a lovely little book, and that's the cords that I put inside. So we'll pop our pages back in, and it's my kiwi in the bush, so yours could be by the sea or whatever you're doing. And here we go here, pop them back inside, tuck them in there, safekeeping, and fold it up, and there's your book all ready to go. So I hope you found that interesting. I'll see you again next time. Bye.